Strange Occurrences, My Testimonies. Hi everyone, it's Maria Maumela. Thank you for joining me. Today I celebrate 100 subscribers. Thank you to all my subscribers. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for the emails that you send me. Thank you for your encouraging words, and thank you for your prayers. I know I'm a bit slow in responding to emails, but my plan is to respond to each and every single email that I receive, okay? And I don't just want to go through them quickly for the sake of responding. You took the time to write to me, so I also want to write back something meaningful. And I want to take my time reading through as I pray for you as well. Amen. And to the new subscribers, welcome to the family. And I ask that you pray for me as I also pray for you. Welcome to the family. There's something special about the first 100 subscribers. So thank you so much, guys. God bless. Since I'm so happy, I decided, well, let me just make this video different by talking about something interesting. And I thought of these two incidences that I would like to mention, okay? Now, before I get into this, okay, this happened in real life. These are not dreams, okay? I will start by saying, I know that there are many people who can relate to this. I'll start by saying, there was a time when I had to go to Roundabout, and I remember the weather was very bad, and I was walking. At the time, I did not have a car. So I was walking to go catch a taxi. And I remember I was like, I wish, I didn't really like pray. It was just like those quiet conversation that I had with myself, you know, like, oh, I wish I could just get a lift that would just take me straight to where I'm going so I do not have to go to the taxi rank. And as I was walking, I was approaching the robot. So the car stopped. I passed by a certain car, and the windows were already winded down. And then it was then that one gentleman asked me, and he was like, I'm sorry, we're actually looking for a place called he was looking for a place called Kleboji. Like, do you know where it is? I'm like, yeah, I know where it is. I'm actually going to Roundabout. It's not too far from there. It's actually very near there. I can show you the place. And it's like, oh, wow, that's great. And it's like, and how far is it from here? I'm like, well, it's like a good 30 minutes drive. And it's like, oh, thank God we found you. You're definitely going to get lost. So that's how I got a lift. Okay. So many can relate with that. Like, it has happened that you once needed something and you did not exactly voice it out as a prayer, but the Lord answered it anyway. Okay. So now I'm going to stretch your faith a little bit by what happened to me. And this happened by accident. There really is such a thing as creative miracles. And the end time Christians, us, will get to walk in that more than the previous Christians, okay? More than the Christians of the past, because of the times we live in. Creative miracles, okay? This is what happened to me. At this time, I was staying in Florida. Okay, so I was in Roodepoort. Okay, I'm in South Africa, by the way. Okay, so I was in Roodepoort on my way to Florida. And I really did not want to catch a train. So I remember I was just walking slowly. I was just walking home. It was still in the morning. I could say around perhaps 11 o'clock. Okay. So as I was walking, I thought to myself, what a beautiful day this is. And I'm like, I do not just want to go home. I'm just going to be bored at the flat. So what am I going to do? And on that day, there really was no one there. I didn't expect anybody to be there. So I did not want to go there and be bored. So I thought to myself, well, since I moved to Florida, I really did not have a chance to get to see the place. It has always been one route from Florida to Roodepoort to Florida, back and forth, up until it was time for me to go home. And I would repeat the same cycle, okay? So I had that thing that I would love to see the place. And I'm like, wow, it would be so beautiful if I could just get a ride home. And I'm like, but a ride home would be a bit boring. We could just go sightseeing. Like, I would love to see like what's here. Like, where are the firms? Like, I want to see the shops. I want to see the place. I want to get to see the place. Wow. Okay, I want to see Rodiport. I want to see Florida. Okay, not just where I live. I just want to see the place. And I thought that would be so nice to do that today because I'm free today. Tomorrow I won't be free. Okay? And then as I was walking and I'm like, ah, oh. And after all of that, driving around, looking at the place, what would be what would beat eating at McD's? Like, I would like to go to McD, get me a Big Mac meal, medium with a Coke, and I would want to end it with an ice cream. Now, this is what I'm thinking. And as I was thinking that, there came a car that it was still in the morning, so you can understand that it was not really that busy on the street. So there came this car. The music was playing very loudly. So I actually stopped. I paused on my thinking and I saw this car go past me. And I realized they were looking for a parking spot and they couldn't find it. So the car went past me and then turned around to the other side and they found a parking spot. So the car was parked facing this way, facing me. So I kept on walking because the car was parked far ahead. And then I saw two guys coming out of the cars. They were making so much noise. It was not even funny. And the first guy went out and the other one sort of like lagged behind. And they still wanted to keep up the conversation. So they were talking very loudly. I remember thinking, oh, wow, they are so loud. I'm like, these are such characters. Okay. Someone could have called them clowns even. Okay. And then one of them went past me. And then when he saw me, he's like, hi. Like, I did not want to have like the thing is, he was so loud. I just thought like, let me just greet him and just go on my way. Like, if he's so loud, who knows what else is he capable of? Like, I don't want him to be rude or to cuss me out or anything of the sort. So I just thought, let me just be cordial, polite, and keep it moving. So he greeted me, I greeted back. It was a full greeting, which I did walking. Okay. So I carried on. Then I remember I stood at the robot for a while. Then I crossed. It was then at the robot that I thought, oh yeah, by the way, I was just imagining. It's amazing how much I remember of this day. I think it's because I've replayed this day so many times. You'll understand why. Then the robot went green, so I went on walking, and I'm like, oh yeah, I was on the ice cream. And I'm like, yeah. And after that, I would like to be dropped at home, straight at the flat, straight at the gate. And then I'll go into the flat. I would leave my bag. I had a handbag and a file. So I was going to leave my stuff in the flat, and then I was going to go to the lake. Okay. I used to stay in Florida Lake, the flats just close to the Florida Lake. So I used to spend a lot of my evenings there. If I needed a quiet time, that's where I would actually go to think, to pray, to meditate, you know. So that was my plan for the day. I'm like, that would be so nice. That would be so nice. And then I just kept on walking. Guys, I did not say a prayer. This is just me imagining this. And as I'm saying it, I'm also imagining it. Okay, fine. Then I'm just going on my way. And then the next thing, I'm still walking on the left side of the road, and then I'm hearing again this loud noise. But this time it was not the music. It was the voices of the guys. I'm like, oh, I know who these are. Those two clowns. So they came. I knew it was them. They were making so much noise. Like, yeah, like, gosh, they were so loud. And then it was then that they stopped next to me. They did not stop. They were driving very slowly next to me. And they were like, by the way, we are not really from around here. We are looking for pawn shops. Okay. And the guy who was on the passenger side said, my friend here, what he does is he runs these mini shops. So he needs things like cash registers, your chairs, whatever that he can use. Like he buys everything that he needs. Your shelving, everything he gets from the pawn shop. Is the pawn shops that you know around. I'm like, wow. I don't want to lie to you. Even I myself, I really do not know this place very well. And it's like, so well, and it's like, well, then where are you going? I'm like, I'm going to Florida. It's like, oh, okay. Well, we were actually going to Florida, but we're just still looking around for the pawn shops around Royport. And I'm like, well, I can't help you there. And it's like, oh, well, you might as well hop in. I'm like, okay. It's like, but you must know you're going to be walking around looking for these shops and trying to see what it is that they have. I'm like, okay. And that was it. So we were driving, basically just driving around, seeing the place. I got to see the place, different places, as the guys were making quotations and everything. So I was happy that I got to see the place. And then after all the driving, we got into the car. And then the driver of the car was like, you know, guys, I'm feeling hungry. What we'll do now, it's a Big Mac meal, medium. There's a McDonald's up the road. It's like, I'm like, what? He didn't just say a Big Mac. He didn't just say that. And it was weird because like he didn't even ask me like, what would you like to eat? I mean, that's exactly the menu he picked for me. And I did not oppose. I mean, that's exactly what I wanted. I wanted a Big Mac with a Coke. I wanted a meal. Okay. Fine, we arrived there. Yeah, and at the time I ate a medium size, and he actually got me a large size, and your girl did not complain. So we got to eat. I ate there. We all ate out. We ate outside in the shade. It was a beautiful weather. So I got to eat and got to know the guys well. Like they were asking me where I'm from and stuff like that. So we got to share the meal, okay? And then fine, then it was time to go. They're like, okay, fine, now we're going to go drop you and going to see where you live. Fine. We arrived and then they dropped me off at the flats and they saw the place where I live. We exchanged numbers like, well, one day when you're around, we'll just call you and stuff like that, okay? Now, this happened in my early 20s, okay? And then I got into the flats. I remember as I was walking in, I was like, I don't know. I plan to go to the park, but after everything, I'm tired. I think I'm just gonna sleep. So as we stayed on the second floor. So as I made it up the stairs, I was really tired. I was starting to feel lazy. So by the time I got to the door, I was like, sure, like I'm not going out. I'm going to take a nap. So I started to look for the key where we hide it, and I realized that the last person to lock the house, to lock the flat, did not leave the key. I was so annoyed, and I'm like, what am I going to do now? And then I said, but I remember that my plan was to come back, leave the file, and then I will go to the park. And I decided, well, let me just finish everything well, because the way everything has happened has been strange. Because I only got to think about it when we were out there as we were eating with the guys. Then I started to think about how everything played out, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna tell the guys what is happening right now. So I decided, let me just end it well, okay? And then as I was about to leave, I realized that the kitchen window wasn't closed well. So it was that window that I used to shove in my bag. I threw it in and I threw my file in, so I was free to go to the park. Okay, I love parks. Like when I see a park, like I want to get on the swing. So I'm very active at the park. I love the park, like I really do. Okay, I don't just take my kids to the park for them. I need time to think, to play, and I just love just that atmosphere. Just hearing children laughing and playing, it's soothing, it's therapeutic for me. So then I went to the park, and when I got to the park, it was just nice and empty. Okay, because during the week it's actually nice and there isn't like a lot happening. It's only on weekends when there'll be people coming to take wedding pictures and all. So during the week I got to like really think, and I was able to think on what had happened, and I thought to myself, what in the world just happened? Okay, so the world of creative miracles is real. So I wanted to challenge you that you tap on that creative miracle and just tap on it and see how far you will go, because even us as Christians of these last days, our faith has to stretch that much. A time is coming when we'll have nothing and we'll have to rely on the Lord for food. Okay, the time is coming when I'm saying relying on the Lord for food, I mean at the very end. I mean just before the rapture, just when things get really bad. We do not know how much reliance I feel will get to that point because of the dreams and visions I've had. And I'm not even gonna make this video longer by trying to rehash any of the videos that I've already made. Okay, so a time will come when we'll have to go to bed and know that in the morning, the Lord will provide. The same way as the Israelites went to bed, they did not worry about what they were going to eat in the morning, for the Lord gave them manna. So just as much as the Lord provided manna for the Israelites, the Lord will also provide our own special manna. Okay? That's what I believe. So I would love to challenge you on that. And even myself, I'm going to put it upon myself also to stretch and see how much creative miracles I can bring to pass. Okay? No, this is not magic. Look, I believe in the Lord. I believe in the Holy Spirit. I believe in prayer. I believe in fasting. I don't believe in any other things. Okay? I do not believe in any other things, but I believe in creative miracles, just like I'm telling you right now. Now, quickly, I don't want my video to be too long. The second testimony. I started to work when I was 18 years old. So one of the first jobs I could say was in sales. Now, if you've ever been in sales, you know it's one of the most rewarding, especially if you know what you're doing. And it is in this field, in this sector, that it's actually good for anyone that's timid, anyone that's shy. It will help you to come out of your shell. It helps to build confidence, and it helps you to be able to just speak in front of people. It's one of those few things that, like, it's one of those few jobs that just sets you up for things and trains you in things that can never really be taught. You just have to walk in it and to learn. And anyone that has ever been in sales will understand me exactly what I'm saying, okay? No, I did not stay long in sales. I was just there for a while, okay? So now, it just so happened, I used to work in the Benoni offices, okay? If you're in the East Ranch, you do know where's Benoni. So I worked in the Benoni offices up until a new office was opened somewhere else in another town. Now, I was among the people that were selected to help the office to get on its feet. It was a privilege, it was an honor, it was exciting. So yeah, I packed. The company was going to provide accommodation and all sorts of things, so we were covered. And usually company accommodation is not far from the company office, so there's perks there, okay? So I went, but now where I was coming from, the thing is, with the sales office we were working in, we used to have goal charts. The goal charts had to be pasted on the wall, so everybody could read your goal chart and they knew what your plans were for the week. Every sale you made, we used to call the sales a piece. Like if you dropped 3 sales, or if you signed 3 people, then you would have dropped three pieces. Okay. So now in the office where I was coming from, usually the goal was to drop like 3 pieces or 5 pieces. That was usually the goal. And sometimes you would have a hard day and you'd come and you'd realize that you only dropped a single piece for the day, okay? And sometimes we'll just drop 2, okay? And sometimes we'll be happy that you dropped 3, and that was really like the goal of the day was just to drop 3 pieces a day, okay? Now, here I am now in the new office. Now, in this new office, by the time I went in there were already some people that were there. We never really moved in there all at the same time. There were people who went on ahead of us to get things running. And there were other people from different offices, from different branches of the company that were brought in to help to start this branch. So by the time I went in, there were already people, because I actually came in a week later, because I had the people I was supposed to travel with ended up not going. So I ended up having to travel by myself. Okay. So I went there. So by the time I got to the office, I arrived in the morning, but the people had already left for the field work. So I went in and I realized there was no one. So I came in with my luggage. I did not even know what the flat was, the company's accommodation. So I just went in with my luggage. So I went in, I found a corner, put my stuff. I went in, looking at the people's goal charts. They were not there, so I was happy to get to see the people I'm working with. I was going to see their names, their faces, and see what they were about, their goals. So I felt it was the best time. So I was going in there, reading their goals for the week. And to my great amazement, in this office, unlike the office I was coming from, these people, their sales goals were like 7 pieces a day. 7 pieces a day. I'm like, how do you sign 7 people in a day? Like, these people are crazy. And I looked on the other one, it was the same thing. And I realized that everybody's goal was to drop 7 pieces a day. And it was just too much for my mind to take. And I remember thinking, how in the world am I going to compete? Because I need to make my own charts. And by then, as I arrived, they knew I was coming. So things were put in there in place for me to make my own charts. So I made my own chart, and just like everybody, I had to write 7 pieces. And I've never signed 7 pieces since I joined the company, not in a single day, no. So as I read, I was in shock. I remember I decided to start in the beginning of the wall, and I was going through each chart slowly. And as I was going through the chart, it's like I was going through some sort of metamorphosis mentally. I'm telling you, I was being changed. I could not believe. By the time I was done checking everybody's chart, I believed I could also do it. I went there, and I'm telling you, I went there and I was signing people. The thing is, I did not know the place very well, so I decided to just not go too far from the office, but I was looking for companies, for firms. So I was able to find some firms, because the goal, anyone who's in sales, no, the goal is to get into the company. If you can get the security to let you speak to management, all you have to do is to sign the management, like sign the boss. Then you'll sign the supervisors, then you'll sign the employees, or a right to the security guard. So that's exactly what happened. I tried I think I tried the first 2 companies, and I probably got in on the 3rd, and I was able to sign the boss, and then I carried on signing the rest of the staff, his staff. Okay. And you know how it is in sales. You just do what it is that you need to do. If you get in there and the boss is Afrikaner, and you're Afrikaans, whatever Afrikaans you speak, you need to get you some pieces. You need to drop some sales, okay? And that's just another thing. It just also encouraged you to work on your languages. And if you get there and the boss is English, then you would just speak English. You get there, the boss is Zulu, then you'll speak Zulu, like whatever it takes. You get there and the boss is Venda, then you also get to speak Venda, just to drop a piece. And that's how it went. And I signed so many people on that day. I remember I just got a spot, and I got a table and a chair, and I was just signing in the people. And I went in. I remember I realized that the time was like I was running out of time. So I was just trying to sign the people as quick as I can. So I arrived at the office late, and they excused me. It was my first day, and they said it's okay, she can come in late, because she started her day late. By the time she came in, new people were already gone. And I was introduced to the team, and I was told, if there's any pieces you have, the office is over there. I went in there and I submitted my pieces. And when I went back to sit, it was then that it was said, like, look at her. She did not even work. All she had was half a day, and she has dropped more pieces than all of you. And I was like stunned, like, oh wow. Like I was so happy, like I was able to achieve that. So I'm just trying to say that the environment you were in is like someone once said, like when you hang around the chickens, you will think like the chickens. But when you hang around the eagles, you will soar high like the eagles. So when I changed office, I found myself in a new environment where my best was not good enough. Okay, and I was forced to raise the standard, but the standard was raised up here mentally, and then I was able to deliver. And since that day, I've tried to apply that method in whatever environment I get in. I always try to elevate myself mentally, because I've realized that people push when they get tired, they stop. And I've learned that people get tired. All I have to do is to push in a little bit more, a little bit more. It's enough to get me shoulder above the others. Yeah, so these are the two testimonies I wanted to share. I hope that they were a blessing to you. And again, let us remember that this is the time for us to be growing closer and closer to the Lord, and also take the chance to work on our faith and understand that creative miracles are real. Yes, they are real. They really are real. Jesus told Peter, go to the water and go fish. Whatever fish you will get coins, and then you go pay my tax and your tax. There are many examples of creative miracles in the Bible. Hallelujah. Yeah. So thank you guys. God bless.